where I can go and present work at conferences and have that book published.
Well, why haven't you named Iverson in your lawsuit?
Well, I named the University of Houston. I'm not a lawyer. I borrowed money to have someone babysit my 2-year-old daughter and borrowed money to file this lawsuit. So I think from my research, the University of Houston is all the people in there, including elderly. And I guess at some point the court will say you can add this person or that person. What Sheila has done, has been trying to do, is in the lawsuit itself, but I'm not an attorney. I'm just a graduate student trying to feed my family.
We spoke to one of her spokespersons this morning, and they said they didn't know anything about it. So you're saying that she does know about the lawsuit?
Well, they haven't been served. The court has a system in place where I can mail it to them and ask to waive service, which I will do later today. So I'm sure if you call the university, they're going to say the same thing. But once they receive a copy of the lawsuit, and we can stop at her office on the way from this press conference and hand deliver one, then she can't say that. But I mean, she's not going to tell the truth because she never tells the truth. Actions speak louder than words.
Well, it was just a spokesperson saying that
right.
they didn't.
Right.
I didn't speak to her.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
What's your current status with the university? Are you currently enrolled?
I'm currently enrolled and I'm on academic probation for what Elwood Lee's false charges against me until May 2009. And also, I don't have funding for the upcoming year. So unless the university all of a sudden, pretends they care about justice and fairness and restores my funding, I may not be able to re-enroll come the fall semester.
Because you don't have a TA's job.
Because I don't have the funding to pay.
Funding.
How much did they cut? Can you tell us how much funding?
You get about $1,200 to $1,300 per month working as a teaching assistant. So that means last year for 9 months I lost over $10,000. And with my situation, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and I can't put her in daycare because I don't have that money. So how can I write my dissertation and do research when I spend 10 hours a day with my daughter?
What reason were you given for the cut?
They won't say. They don't have a transparent system to award graduate funding. And my professor, Gerald Horn, is the most renowned African-American historian in the country. His letter of recommendation for me to get funded said, my research, my book will make a major contribution to the field. Yet one chairman, the history department chairman, Bob Zanko, he makes a decision on his own. Who is he to stand up? He's only published 2 books in his 10-year career. My professor publishes 3 books in the last calendar year. He's the expert. He judges my research and the validity of it. Who is this guy who's doing the work for these politicians and these presidents cutting my funding? Who's he to question the judgment, professional judgment of my professor, who's an endowed chair in African American history? They don't have a system, a criteria in place so they can kick it all to use the good old boy system to reward their friends.
So your dissertation is on Freedmanstown?
Well, I'm doing a dissertation on Light and Hopkins, but at the same time, I'm researching for years now this book about Allen Parkway, Lenwood Johnson, Gladys House. I'm trying to have a better chance in the job market by having 2 books ready when I go for the job market.
But the dissertation, I got confused. The dissertation is on that or not?
It's not a dissertation yet.
It's not. Okay.
It's going to be a book that will be published.
Oh, I
hopefully
see.
at the same time.
And that's what you're referring to when you said research.
Right.
Well, so what are you asking?
I'm asking the court to order the university to restore my graduate funding, to put out a ruling that they violated my free speech First Amendment rights with their policies and actions against me, and they'll soon be taking the same actions against my fellow students. So I'm asking the judge and the court to declare what they did as a violation of my constitutional rights and restore my funding, give me a job that I'm qualified for. They said in their letters to me that I'm qualified, and they're saying if funding becomes available, they've made offers to other students months ago. And they just tell me a few weeks ago, you're down some list of students too far down it, but they won't give up the list.
Have you heard from President Couture since the disciplinary charges against you, or since he's missing them?
No, she's will never meet with us, and we've delivered at least 15 letters between the 2 groups, bringing up her unjust ways, ignoring the shared government system, and she never has responded. She wrote 1 letter in March, and she says in her letter, both the fair trade and sweatshops, you must stop your disruptive activities. What disruptive activities? We've never been charged for that at the time she wrote those letters. She's trying to put the fear of God into these hardworking students who stand up for human rights.
So you're alleging that kind of a couple of people are in cahoots?
I don't think that Sheila Jackson Lee is in cahoots with Dr. Couture. There's two separate things going on here. There's Dr. Couture and her minions trying to shut me up because I keep bringing up, our group members keep bringing up things about human rights. Another issue is Sheila and her husband trying to crushing, ethnically cleansing my black neighborhood. And they don't want a white man getting a PhD giving validity to their struggle. They want that African American history kept under the rug. So it's two separate things here. But they're both oppressive me. They're both trying to talk to me.
And Dr. Rudley is involved from his tenure as interim president at UH.
Right.
Okay, well, she asked you what are you asking the court to do. What do you expect to happen?
Well, I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I've done research on a female history professor at my university had filed a lawsuit in 2005 alleging gender pay inequities, and recently in March it was dismissed on technicality, not on the merits. But the history department has a history of kicking out a graduate student who got the state legislature to investigate corruption in the history department, and they violated court orders after he got back in. So I want the court to put that court order down to let me continue my studies, to stop the university, the history department from doing their illegal actions. I would hope that the court can see these free speech amendment violations through all the paperwork I've accumulated up to this time.
And so you filed this on your own without an attorney?
Yes, ma'am. And at a high financial cost. People community supporters from the neighborhood have anonymously contributed to me to pay babysitters and to pay this $350 filing fee. I can't afford an attorney. I live in low-income housing in Freetown. I'm not a wealthy person. That's why when they cut my money, it's strangling my family. It causes stress to my wife, and it's harming my 2-year-old daughter.
And what's the current status of the latest disciplinary measures that have been filed? Is that hearing pending?
It's pending. I got to postpone because I have a witness, one of the students who was there, which we have videotaped. She was in Mexico. They've asked her to postpone it. They postponed it 9 minutes before noon last Wednesday, which was supposed to be held. They're doing everything to have these disciplinary hearings. They don't give you due process.
And the last disciplinary action was specifically about which
what they did is after the Chronicle published a story on June 17th, then they filed 4 disciplinary charges. 4 separate days. They backdated all.
Before the article, they backdated.
Well, no, yeah, they debated before the article. They said one was the day of the article, and we went in there and we have media witness, and then they said the next day when the article was published, and when I called, we got a letter from the chief of staff of the president, and they said talk to this person, talk to that person, and I called them, and they're saying I screamed at the other person. It's just more. They're obviously fabricated.
And so these charges were just against you and not against the other students?
Yeah, they're singling me out so they can make an example. We'll kick a guy out before he gets his PhD, so these students will be afraid to stand up for human rights and exercise their first speech.
And then have they given you a sense of when the first hearing on this case will be held?
Yeah, November the 9th. 3 p.m. conference about these circumstances.
I'm here to support the students against sweatshops, not everything.
And who are you with?
I'm with Unite here.